Traveling over the interior of South Monomoy Island, you see grass-covered dunes, shrublands, and changing coastal terrain shaped by tides and shifting sands. When active, the lighthouse cast her light over this diverse landscape for 100 years. Let's go ground level to learn about her remarkable history. Monomoy Island is forever changing. In the early 1800s, it was home to a settlement called Whitewash Village. Residents fished cod and mackerel and serviced the booming coastal trade. Change came to the village, and it was abandoned after the Powder Hole Harbor was washed away by a devastating hurricane in 1860. The seas and the storms have continued to alter the landscape over time, and the many species of birds and animals come and go with the seasonal changes. One thing has stood tall and unchanged in the face of time for nearly 200 years: the Monomoy Point Lighthouse. This proud beacon of light, built in 1849, stands 40 feet tall. It's constructed with a cast iron tower lined in brick. It replaced the first Monomoy Point Light, built in 1823 to aid vessels traveling around the treacherous point at Pollock Rip. For 100 years, she cast her light on the surrounding sea until the more powerful lights at Chatham and Nantucket retired her from active duty. Yet Monomoy Light still stands tall today alongside the lighthouse keeper's quarters. She is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. In 1988, restoration began with the painting of the Red Tower by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Cape Cod Museum of Natural History. That was followed in 2009 by a $1.5 million government appropriation, and by 2010, ambitious restoration was underway. First came the shoring up and restoring the lighthouse roof and siding. In 2016, over 16 tons of materials were airlifted from Chatham Municipal Airport and Hardings Beach to the lighthouse by U.S. Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod. And by September, the deck surrounding the lighthouse and much of the interior was restored by a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Maintenance Action Team and Team Rubicon, a veterans service group. Interior restoration continued, with the help from many generous partners who provided support to rebuild the lighthouse keeper's quarters. The team went at the work like an army of frenzied carpenter ants. Insulation was installed, new framework and wallboard applied, and the beginnings of a future solar-powered heating system was put in place. A major makeover for Monomoy Point Lighthouse continues, with the goal of making the lighthouse and keeper's quarters available for public tours in the foreseeable future, and safe for staff and researchers who stay there. Change does come often to the island, and one could say it finally caught up to the majestic Monomoy Point Lighthouse.